はい、それでは午後の部再開とさせていただきます。
Okay, thank you very much. Now it's the time to start the afternoon session. The first presenter is Paul Benham, Australia. He is a representative of Hemp Food Australia and the co-founder of Hemp Foods America and Hemp Food Japan. From 1991, he is the leadership in the hemp industry throughout the world. Australia and Oceania and the world environment. He is going to about the present and the future outlook of hemp industries and sustainable development as well. And he just published the author of some books as well. So Mr. Paul Benham, please.
I wait for my presentation to begin. I gave it to him this morning, for sure.
データの、はい、確認をされているということですね。
So now he is checking his presentation
一番最
material.
初の冒頭のステージでアボリジニのディジュリーという響き渡るような演奏を実はされたのが
Actually, he played music with some musical instrument. Now he is quite nice in suits. Okay, are you ready?
It's very honourable for me to be here at the International Hemp Environmental Forum. Thank you for allowing me to begin the presentations in English. I'd like to start by sharing that hemp has a very long and interesting history. From the ancient Egyptians to many cultures, there has been a history of hemp for many thousands of years. But it seems that Japan actually has the longest history of cannabis, sativa, hemp, from anywhere. This is my partner Makoto Matsamura-san talking about the history of hemp in Europe of over 10,000 years. And of course, the baby here is the future of hemp and the generations that we work for to bring back this plant to the people. In fact, hemp has been a very important commodity for many thousands of years, and it has only been in the short time since the war where hemp has been the most persecuted commodity. But I'm very happy to say that in the last few years, hemp is being recognized to be again one of the most important commodities on this planet. It was because of campaigns by the United States of America calling cannabis reefer madness and saying that it does lots of bad to people that cannabis was actually stopped. In fact, the United States is responsible for banning cannabis in 150 countries. But for me personally, it was the pollution that has been growing on this planet that inspires me to become involved with industrial hemp. Seeing plastic bottles and waste like this throughout Asia inspired me to make a change in this world. But modern medicine being the #1 cause of death in the United States and most Western countries has been my personal biggest inspiration to become involved, particularly with hemp seed as a food. I believe that hemp has a potential to allow us to create a green, bright future for our local communities all over the world. Hemp is essential for health. Did you know that our brains contain more essential fatty acids, omega-3 and omega-6, than anything else. This is a picture of my brain made from hemp seeds. This has inspired us to produce hemp seeds, hemp oil, and hemp protein products in Australia. In fact, the search terms by Google for hemp more recently are increasing. Also, the growth of hemp seeds in tons is now increasing significantly also. We have in Europe, for example, a few years ago, over 10,000 tons of hemp seeds being produced for oil, other foods, and even animal feed. This is what a modern factory hemp seed storage looks like today. Hemp has many uses, from the roots to the fiber, to the inside of the stalk, to the flowers, to the seeds, and to the leaves. There are now over 100,000 hectares of hemp being grown throughout the world. This is a hemp fiber processing line by Hemp Flax that I visited recently in the Netherlands. Hemp is also used for making building. This is a hemp building production line that makes panels for building. There are many different types of hemp buildings around the world. This picture on the left side is a 9-story hemp building. Many people think of hemp buildings as alternative buildings. They can look like any other building. Hemp, when used in building, stores carbon at 1.9 kilos of CO2 per kilogram of material used. These are more examples of how the prefabricated hemp is being used. It is my dream to create eco-villages of hemp, and this is a concept that I found in the Netherlands, where people grow their own organic foods, build their hemp buildings, use hemp as a food, use hemp as a medicine, use hemp for textiles and paper and all the other uses that we see. Another use that we saw earlier was that hemp stalks are being used for production of charcoal, both in Japan and China. And of course, it's not just the hemp seeds. These hemp fibers are now being used in many tens of thousands of tons, with the largest use for them in the world actually in the automotive and composite world. Here is an example car made from hemp biocomposites. It's an electric car also. While we're talking about car, let me show you a comparison of hemp seeds and your car. When we drive in Australia, we drive an approximately 270 kilometers per week, which releases approximately 50 kilograms of CO2 into the atmosphere, contributing to global warming. When we use 1 large kilo of hemp seeds and 1 large bottle of hemp oil, we reduce the carbon in the air by the hemp that is grown by 70 kilos. So by eating more hemp seeds and hemp oil, we can prevent and balance out the problems that we are causing on this planet. On the right is a car part made again by hemp flax for cars like Mercedes and BMW from this wonderful plant. Hemp plastics is another one of my passions, to see an alternative to the plastics being used today. We can blend hemp with regular plastics. We can blend hemp with other plant-based 100% biodegradable and now 3D printable plastics. Here are some examples. Excuse me. I can't go back, but there are some examples outside that you can see of 3D printable hemp plastic materials. I made this Kyoto Hemp Forum logo for this very event that you can see and touch outside. It's 100% biodegradable. Other products made from hemp plastics include the didgeridoo that you heard me play earlier today. This is also made from 100% hemp and charcoal. There is no glues, there are no resins, and there are no binders in this material that we make in my town in Australia. You can also make batteries from hemp. Clothing is made from hemp, as we know. Paper can be made from hemp. There are many uses for this wonderful plant. Most recently, there has been other forms of hemp being shown in the news. The Japan Times presented just last week about a man with cancer wanting to use medical cannabis or high CBD oil for helping with his problems. This has not currently been scientifically proven within Japan, but we are working on that. There is much news within the world about high CBD hemp oil being used for many different disorders. The understanding of medical cannabis and its effects are being learnt very quickly right now. Epilepsy is one particular use that people know a lot about in regards to CBD and hemp oil. Arthritis is another particular use. Cannabidiol search terms in Google in the very recent years as people are starting to experience the benefits and the use of hemp CBD oil are growing. Dementia, PTSD, diabetes, ulcerative colitis, and IBS are uses that we have directly seen and have seen studies of where high CBD, low THC products can assist. In fact, there are many different uses of the different cannabinoids within cannabis hemp. As you can see, CBD is the largest cannabinoid within industrial hemp. The amount of research and publications is starting to increase significantly again. In fact, the draft genome and transcript of cannabis sativa is now being understood, and this is allowing the world to start studying cannabis as a medicine once again. And when we talk about cannabis as a medicine, we are not necessarily talking about getting high. All of this CBD raw material from Europe contains no THC for psychoactive purposes. This is me just a few days ago in Europe. This is also a recent visit to a processing facility to make this oil, and a field which is just a few weeks old, also in Europe. There are many types of harvesting technologies that are being developed. This is the harvesting of different parts of the hemp plant which are being used for multiple uses. Having many uses from one crop makes it extremely important for farmers to get a good return, bringing back the new agronomic age. These are fields that I inspected recently to check the quality of them. We use these fields to produce products for elixinol. Just a few days ago, I was in a hemp field having a look at hemp tea, which is made from the leaves. Hemp tea is something that is only legal currently in Europe, when it doesn't contain any psychoactive properties, it is being sold in the department stores and enjoyed as a caffeine-free tea alternative. It is my belief that the future of hemp can be and will be sustainable. We can run ethical businesses when we work together honestly and we talk to each other. It is our goal here from the industry to bring and create local industries where we work together. We would like to see the lessons that we have learned in Australia, the United States, and throughout Europe to be shared in Japan, whose culture of hemp is very strong. We look forward to working with you. Now I will introduce my colleagues from Canada, Thailand, the USA, Netherlands, and Ukraine to all present to you different aspects of this wonderful crop. Arigatou gozaimasu.
ポール・ベンハイムさん、ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much.
ヘンプのさまざまな、可能性、
He talked about the many potentials of hemp.
続きましては、女性
The next speaker, it's my pleasure to introduce Miss Andrea Harman
アンド
from
レア・ハーマン
Canada.
さん、マニトバ大学麻繊維栽培科学修士、ヘ
She
ンプテ
has
ク
a
ノロジ
master's
ーズ社
degree
代表、リッ
and
チイ
she's
ンターナショナルカンナビス
president
コン
of
サルティン
Seep
グ社
Temptation
創設代表、
and
HIA
She
麻
is
産業協会前代表でいらっしゃり、
former
名誉会長
president
でもあり
and
ま
she is
す。
also an
ま
honorary
た、カナ
president.
ダ麻栽培免許保持者でもあります。
She is also a
カナダ、
licensee
EU、
of
南
hemp
アフリカ、
production in
南
Canada,
米、オセア
Canada,
ニア、アメリ
EU,
カなどの
South
麻
America,
復興支援に活躍
Oceania.
されていま
In
す。
all those areas,
アン
she
ド
has
レア・
been very
ハーマンさ
active
ん、
in
拍手でお
promoting
迎えください。
hemps.
Thank you all very much for having me. It is an honor to attend, and I'd like to take your photo so we can share our happiness with the world. Happiness! Thank you very much. So today I will speak about hemp food safety. In addition, I will give an update on a variety trial happening in the United States. In addition, I will give you an update on Canada and current regulations in the USA. So part of that food safety are looking at these particular steps, including certification, field handling for both the seed and the grain, the storage, cleaning, the processing, and the certificates of analysis, and then finally into packaging for the retail shelf. So part of that is meeting the requirements as food safety. These are all the things you must consider when you're going to be working with hemp foods. Those include what obligations do you have to the regulations? How are they interpreted? What is missing within your company that you must fulfill? Maybe that's personnel. Maybe that's equipment processing. You need to make an action plan on how you're going to resolve any issues that may come forward. And then you also need to be able to think on your feet as issues arise every day that we must overcome, not only as individual companies, but as industries standing together. So these are just some of the things you may want to think about. And at the very end, at the bottom, is hygienic practices. Always making sure that you're producing a healthy, clean, safe food for the marketplace. So part of that is starting on farm. These are pictures of big grain bins in Canada. And this is where we store the hemp seed grain that we use for processing into food and for planting seed. Part of that is looking at moisture content at harvest time, typically around 18%, but no more than 25%, as you can cause rot or the grain to start sprouting or heating in the bin. You want to dry that as quick as possible down to a moisture content of 9 to 8% so that the quality of the grain and the essential fatty acid profile is maintained. Typically, hemp grain or hemp planting seed will store properly for 2 years under proper conditions. and continual monitoring must occur throughout the entire storage process to retain the quality. And as you can see here, we have clean grain on one side and then grain coming out of a mechanical combine. So talking about old ways of preparing food. So here you'll see two different types of old oil presses. These are with stone and weight and by turning to crush the seed to remove the oil. And here you see some old oil stones. These are millstones from Pennsylvania used to crush hemp seed into flour or meal to prepare into food. And here is some modern equipment, including oil presses, not only manual, but on the bottom you can see a hand press. So this is something that we could use on economies of scale in small communities to hand press our hemp grain or hemp seed. So how do we judge what is a safe food? Part of that is analytical, looking at microorganisms. The sensory is very important. How does it taste? Because if it does not taste good, consumers will not want to buy it. So very important. Looking at the levels of tolerance that are pertaining to your ready-made food regulations. So what are those regulations? We have to look at things such as E. coli, salmonella, molds and yeast. We have to examine the regulations to see how do we produce this food? What do our companies need to be licensed? Do we need to have FDA approval, for instance? And looking at other things such as industry guidelines, such as THC percentage in hemp foods, for instance, or where you're processing them at and the final product that you're making. Because the final product that you can make from industrial hemp varies depending on what country you're working in. When we're talking about hemp foods, one of the things that we really judge on the safety is the certificate of analysis. This includes the details that tell the consumer or the buyer of the hemp food that it is safe. These, as I said, include such things as E. coli, salmonella, also looking at such things as peroxide value for rancidity of the oil. You want to keep your oil nice and fresh, cold pressed, and cool in a cool environment. So now that we've discussed hemp food safety, I'm going to switch gears and discuss what's happening in the United States right now. As some of you know, the Agricultural Act of 2014, or also called the Farm Bill, had a provision which allowed states that had legalized and recognized industrial hemp as an agricultural crop to start conducting research. And this research also facilitated market research. And there we have President Obama signing the Farm Bill. This was something very exciting for all of us in the United States as we had worked together as an industry to help make this change. And we depended upon our legislators to assist. So please reach out to your legislators in your local communities, in your local counties, and on the federal level, wherever you live, to ask them to support the rights of farmers around the globe to cultivate industrial hemp. So here we have a map of the United States, and as you can see in yellow are states that are growing industrial hemp this year, and in green are the states, with the green stars, are states that cultivated in 2015. So we are seeing more states every day pass hemp legislation to facilitate the cultivation within the states for research. And this map changes daily. So now we have Texas has come on, Michigan also, so more states every day. And one of those states is North Dakota. It was my honor to be able to help organize the industrial hemp planting seed for the state of North Dakota after 70 years of prohibition in that state. When I crossed Customs Border Patrol with the seed, I cried because it was a very happy day for me to be able to support the farmers in North Dakota. And these are pictures of the team and mentors to the team for that trial. We brought in seed from Canada, from France, and from Australia. So at the top there, we're having some fun in the hemp fields, which is always important while we were taking samples. Again, here's some pictures. Most of these were grain and fiber varieties, and each of them reacted differently in the North Dakota environment. And after this one-year trial, it was decided that the grain cultivars were the best cultivars for North Dakota, and that was because the existing infrastructure was already there, including combines, grain bins, seed cleaners, and a close marketplace for processing in Canada. So here we are with some of the grain that came off of that little small combine there and part of our team. So now that was a picture of what was happening in the United States, and those types of trials are happening in many states today, and many people are celebrating right now, as you are with us, because they are now planting hemp after over 70 years of prohibition. So now we look at the Canadian regulations. In 1998, the Canadian regulations were implemented, re-allowing the cultivation of industrial hemp as a food and fiber. There are certain regulations, such as we have a list of approved cultivars. One of our colleagues later will be talking about breeding program and the impact that has on the marketplace. It is very important that we grow cultivars that are for the purpose and application that the market that you want to sell into demands. Part of those regulations is THC level in the field, which is 0.3% in Canada, and then our colleagues in EU is 0.2%. Right now in the EU, they are also asking for regulatory change. Part of those is that we can only work with grain derivatives, which means the food that's processed off of the crop, in addition, fiber. Some of those will be, we have to have a criminal record check, provide a GPS and a map of the field, and in actuality, the application is very simple and it's free. So there's no charge for a farmer to cultivate industrial hemp as it pertains to licensing. So on behalf of the Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance, as you heard, I do sit on the board of the Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance, the CHTA. This is very important, so my advice to you as you move forward is unification. So come to the table together as an industry to start making these decisions that you're going to need so that you have a unified voice when it comes to communicating with your legislatures, because we are all one as we start to work within each country. So the Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance is representative of the industry by our board members. And through that, we do certain things, such as look at applications for feed. Hemp is not registered as a livestock or animal feed in Canada, so we must do the research that shows the government that it is a legitimate product that we can use as a safe animal feed for those animals that humans are going to eat, for instance. We also are looking at developing standards, and those standards can be such as the certificate of analysis I spoke about earlier. What does that mean? So that you know, no matter which company you're purchasing a quality hemp food product from, that the standards are the same, at least the baseline for those standards. In addition, the Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance and our members are very interested in helping develop the international market. Our colleagues are, of course, as you see, we have come here to help support the industry here in Japan. So part of the Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance initiatives are looking at national variety trials, because what variety will grow well in northern Alberta may not grow very well in southern Ontario. So the variety, as I said, must be for the application in the area. Some of the other initiatives are hog and poultry feeding trials and a hemp production manual. The hemp production manual is a farming guide put together by our farming members of the association to help farmers understand best management practices for cultivation. In addition, the Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance is pushing for a regulatory review of our regulations that were implemented in 1998. Part of that is currently we're not allowed to work with the flowering parts or the green part leaf of the plant. As previously Paul stated that when he was in Europe, he was able to have hemp tea. In Canada, we're not allowed to make hemp tea yet. We're working to change those regulations. In addition, we work closely with our agricultural food development centers and Ag Canada to help use their power to have a voice of unification to the federal government. In addition, we have to look at long-term strategy. What do we need as an industry for long-term, and how can we start working on those initiatives today for plans 5, 10, 20 years from now? So the future of hemp in Canada, what does that mean? Are we looking to have 1 million acres in Canada? How do we drive that type of industry? How do we diversify our risk so that we can develop an industry such as canola? In addition, we want to look at utilizing different food ingredients across the board. The variety trials and breeding programs will help drive up the grain yields. And must understand, unlike our colleagues in Europe, our fiber industry, and you here, our fiber industry is very small. So it's opposite of what we see in Germany or the Netherlands, for instance, where it's principally been focused on fiber, but now we'll see change, and Ben will speak of that later. We look at how is a dual crop, how does that work? What's the application? How about triple cropping? And that means when you're taking one plant and you're harvesting 3 different parts for different applications. And this helps to increase the farmer's farm gate so that they make more money, because without farmers, we are not at the table. We do not have jobs if we do not have farmers cultivating this crop. So the farmer is number one, and we must stand together to support farmers so that we can have an industry. On behalf of the Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance, I would like to invite you all to join us in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan for our 14th annual convention happening in November. If you would like to attend, please let me know, and we would invite you to make presentation for our delegates. In addition, I'd like to now speak about the Hemp Industries Association and education campaigns that can also be conducted here in Japan and other places around the world. This national education campaign is called Hemp History Week. And now I will show a short video pertaining. This is a grassroots
We're here at the Spindletop Farm, which is the University of Kentucky's research farm, and we are celebrating Hemp History Week. Hemp is a crop that was grown for centuries here in the United States. It had a long history of being grown here in Kentucky. This is the 2nd year in a row that they've been able to plant hemp for research here, and they're looking at it as a potential to replace tobacco for farmers here.
Kentucky farmers already know how to do this. We really want to see this model work for Kentucky.
There's a resurgence in hemp interest, especially in younger people. It's very important for our young people to involve in agriculture, because where's the food without the farmer?
The greener technologies are moving forward, and I think we would all agree that's a very positive thing. And the hemp fibers can certainly contribute to that end. We're hopeful for the day when hemp does become a commodity and far, far less of an oddity.
Hemp is going to be an alternative for farmers to grow a sustainable crop that is environmentally friendly. Hemp can be made into sustainable products like paper, sustainable housing.
From the fiber on the stalk, you can do textiles.
Hemp foods such as hemp seed, protein, and oil.
It's up to the consumer to buy the product or demand the product.
Consumers will see these products and realize that they're really beneficial in their daily lives. We've literally got hundreds of millions of dollars worth of hemp products being sold in the United States that are all produced from hemp grown in Canada and Europe and China. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that American farmers wouldn't be able to grow it. There's a lot of opportunities for people to get involved.
Hemp History Week is an opportunity for people to engage their communities around education.
Hundreds of grassroots organizers are supporting industrial hemp across the nation, educating their communities, hosting events such as fashion shows, documentary screenings,
Tabling and passing out information at farmers markets. And now that we're able to legally plant in certain states, people are hosting hemp plantings.
You can take action by writing your members of Congress and let them know that you support seeing hemp brought back to American agriculture.
It's very exciting to be on the forefront of this research. The future is wide open for this crop.
Learn more about Hemp History Week at hemphistoryweek.com.
So that is Hemp History Week. This is something that you can implement right here in Japan as a grassroots education campaign, not only to talk about the past, but to talk about the future and educate the consumers. So on behalf of the Hemp Industries Association, I would also like to invite you to Denver, Colorado, September 18th through 20th to attend the Hemp Industries Association in the U.S.'s National Conference. In addition, if you would like to speak at this conference, please let me know. So on behalf of all of my colleagues in the United States, Canada, and all the projects that I assist around the globe, I thank you for your time and your attention to my presentation. My name is Andrea Herman, and you know where you'll find me, and that will be in a hemp field somewhere around the globe. And I wish you all a hemptastic day. Thank you.
Andrea Herman さん、ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your presentation. She talked about the situation in Canada and the US. Hemp is going to the key of the sustainable future.
続きましては、はい、ご準備大丈夫でしょうか。
We would like to move on to the next part of the program. Let me introduce to you Ms. Olive Hemp from Thailand, and the original plant and hemp products are now manufactured and handcrafted and also sold. And she has identified the mountainous and organic hemp production method, which has been conveyed by Mon tribe, and she is engaged in the total holistic and social work, particularly focusing on the hemp production and traditional culture sustenance.
Hello. Sawadika. This is Thai word for say hello. Okay. Thank you. I'm just a little bit nervous to come, and on my behalf from Thailand, I just say thank you very much to I can have the presentation. This is our king. This year is 70th anniversary of his throne. We are follow the royal project to make him in Thailand. Who is the Hemp Thai? This is me. Hemp Thai, we work with the social and the communication. We do the business with the environmental friendly. We work with the circular culture. That means I work with the Hmong people in the mountain. And circular culture mean nothing lost, nothing created, but everything transformed from generation to generation. This is our aim to do the hemp in Thailand. We call to the old generation that they can make hemp, and they train to the young generation to let the hemp is still working in the day. And we try to get the young kids that have to practicing when they was young to one by one. And this is our king. When we are young, our queen Sirikit, she always visit the villager or the mountain people, And so she saw the hemp in Thailand that from Hmong people, and she said, please let them grow hemp. So we can grow hemp until now. And you can see that the costume, they until now they wear this costume, that if you see the costume like that made by hemp, by themselves, they weaving by hand. And all the kids, we training to do hemp. This is our activity, like the hemp Thai helping them. We come to like a community to work together. And I put that the subject of hemp in school. So all the kids, all the children of Hmong and Angkar people, now they can learn how to do hemp. And this is the old generation do hemp until now. We use and keep the traditional to do the thread, the yarn, and how to grow and dry the hemp, and how to twist the thread yarn. It's not the industry made, but it's handmade. And this is the farm that we grow hemp in north of Thailand. This is our farm. It looks like other country and it's beautiful. This is the place that where we are. We are in Chiang Rai province, and this is the most important field in Thailand. So we have to do like every season, every year we do one by one. And now we have some, I don't know how the acre, but it's in Rai. This year we have more than 100 Rai. But in the community people, it's not for my company. And this process of the traditional hemp, that you can see that they cut by hand or knife, and they dry it immediately after they cut, and they do the yarn, the thread twist by hand, and they boil the yarn for it's going to be white and soft. And this is all our farm, all the field. And this is all kids. We try to do the activity for them. We train them to how to do like a circular knit by the milk bottom. So we do like a circular and then knitting by hemp trees. And we work with some community. They have the foundation come to give them some scholarship. And scholarship, it means they training to dry the color, they training to embroidering for the kid in school. And this is our farm. This is for the kid farm from school. They learning how to grow hemp, how to taking care the hemp farm, and how to make the product after they get the trade already. And this is the family. Like mama and papa, they work, and like the kid is learning by them in the family. And that's why we come here. We want to show that the trend that we want to let hemp grow and wake up in Thailand. We see that the mega trend and micro trend. Mega trend is affection business trend taking in the future, but we do the micro trend. That is mean trend is consists in the two trend. Is balancing growth for us and growth with zero. This is macro trend. It have the three dynamic. One is for the demographic shift and urbanization and climate change that we are talking about that every day. This is for the demographic shift that many people grow up. And this is the urbanization or every day is open and biggest, and we destroy the nature. We try to save our earth. We try to protect our earth, but this is climate change always started and grow up. This is how can we do the scenario for our earth. This is the first. We try to do like a macro. Macro is mean we use our nature around ourselves and take care of that. And the second is we use for the power, the energy in the world for technology. And the third, we try to develop all around the system to develop and protect our earth. But you can see in the first until the future, we can have the nature still with us. But in the third, you can see the red color that is destroyed, and is the global warming is coming, sure. Here is balancing growth. That is back to the root that we said it's a micro trend that we do. Back to the root. And the second is life cycle responsiveness. And the third is deal with the disaster. Back to the root is mean made by me, that made by everybody, they made by ourselves, and in sync with the nature. We could stay with the nature and go together. Made by me is like organic. We talk every day about organic, about how to do with the vegetable, and something is good and eco-friendly and bio, but we still destroy the nature. The in sync with the nature, integrate nature back into life cycle and lifestyle building environment. The eco-tourism that everywhere have, also in Thailand, we do like a homestay. We get the tourists coming our country and can grow the vegetable and can pick the vegetable and eat like a salad, fresh salad. But we still do that. And in the future, we can do like every home can open for the tour is coming, stay together and learn how to do like a Thai style. The herbal farm and the green building and construction, like we try to do like a hempcrete. We do, this is for the construction, not cement, not the chemical, most of chemical. How to deal with the disaster. That is like enchantment twist or surviving kid dreamer. Like life enchantment twist, like the human create by own hardship, and we can create a population, meaning that the quality of life, how to do that. The zero waste is mean growth with zero. We try to share with the people that economic force. And growth with the zero, like a waste to value, or sharing and caring, and innovation to smart. This is value responsibility. And the value will be, the symbiosis is the ancient. The cradle to cradle, that means it have the hole. In the loop is the cycle. Is the loop is have all the hole. You can see as the hole is coming. That means we lost the nature, but we try to mix up to cycle, that we not lost anything. Sharing and caring, that means access over ownership, product turn service. That means the access over ownership, that means like I talk about the homestay. We can sharing homestay, no need to stay in the hotel and lose the water and pollution. And we stay together, we eat together, we have together, and we pay less. And products turn service. That means like we have the Uber taxi. They have their own car, their own cab, and they can share, they pay less, and okay, someday we don't use that, we can rent it out. No need to buy a new car. And sharing of the resourcing is like before, we want to have everything is our own. It's like we have car, we have land, we have everything that we are own. But now on 2025, maybe we have only half and we share. We can rent and we can stay together with somebody and we can share apartment, we can share a car, we can share food, something like that. And this is my presentation from Thailand. Thank you very much to listen that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The name is Olive Hemp from Thailand. Thank you.
続きましてご紹介いたします。
Now let me
ポ
introduce
ー
the
ル・ス
next
タンフォード
speaker.
さん、アメリカからご紹介し
From the
ます。
United States, next speaker is
THCF
Mr.
創
Paul
設者
Stanford,
代
and
表、
he is the
欧
founder
米
of
で
the
バイブルとなった
THCM
ヘンプに関
and
す
CF,
る
and
著書
also
裸の王様の制作に
he
携わり
is
ま
also
す。
involved
メ
for
ディア、ヘ
the
ンプニュースの
creating
運
the
営、
book
そしてオ
which
レゴン
was
州ポートラ
very
ンドで
famous in the
毎
United
年
States,
ヘンプト
and
ークのイベン
the
トを
hemp
開催
talk
されて
is
います。
organized
また大規模な森林伐採に頼らないヘンプ市の普及に努める
he is
チ
trying
リ
to
ーフリー
prevail
エコ
the
ペーパーの
tree-free
設立
eco
をされてい
paper,
ます。
which
その他25万
that
人以
we
上の
don't
患者に
dependent
医
on
療
to
大麻
other
ライセン
trees.
スを与え
And
てきた
also
という
the,
ポ
he
ール・
has
スタン
been
フォードさんです。
providing the
現
support
在
for
注目しているお話、
patients
朝由来のエネルギーについてのお話もい
the
ただ
hemp,
き
and
ます。
also the,
ポー
he
ル・
is going
ス
to
タン
talk
フォー
about
ド
the
さん、拍
energy,
手でお迎えくだ
hemp
さ
energy
い。
as well. Now, please give him a big applause to
Thank you.
Mr. Paul Stanford.
I began working to try to change marijuana laws at an early age, and worked with some leaders in America to help change our marijuana laws. I did research with a fellow named Jack Herer, who wrote a book about The Emperor Wears No Clothes. First edition that came out on that. But CRRH is a political committee. We've been working to change the laws for hemp and marijuana in the United States. It stands for the Campaign for the Restoration and Regulation of Hemp. And we've led the way in changing laws in my home state of Oregon. We made those changes. We had a vote in 2012, another vote in 2014. 2012, we got 47%. We lost, but we came back in 2014 and won with 54%. Back in 1990, started the Hemp and Cannabis Foundation, started doing a cable access television show, and invited a doctor on. So when medical marijuana became legal, people came to our show to try to get our doctor to help them get their permit so they could legally possess, use, and grow marijuana. So we opened several clinics. This is one of our clinics in Portland, Oregon. We help probably about 200 patients a week in this clinic. We also have, this is the interior where our patients come in and fill out paperwork to qualify. This is in our office in California, in Riverside, California. So we have helped altogether about 275,000 Americans all across the United States, from the East Coast out to Hawaii. This is in our Colorado office. And so have several photos from our clinics. This is our Seattle office. We help patients. The largest group of patients that we help are chronic pain patients. Often they come in and they've been given pharmaceutical drugs that are very debilitating to them. The opiates, the other painkillers, they dramatically reduce their quality of life. They can't function with those drugs. Those drugs are highly addictive. Usually those painkillers, the opioids, people become addicted to them in 72 hours, in just 3 or 4 days. So what we find is that most of our patients who get a medical marijuana permit are able to get off those debilitating pharmaceuticals and replace them with cannabis. And so there are several medicinal compounds in cannabis. Here are some antique bottles. Cannabis has been used as medicine, I'm sure, in Japanese culture. And here in the United States, these are some antique cannabis containers. I have a small collection of those. There's another fellow here who has a much larger collection, Ben Dronkers. I believe he'll come up a little bit here, but his collection is a little bit larger. Here's a Eli Lilly container, and so they produced about 20 different cannabinoid medicines at Eli Lilly. Here's Johnson & Johnson. They don't just make baby shampoo and oil. They made this aspirin and cannabis indica plaster as a topical container. So I am able to legally grow medical marijuana in the United States with permits between 2006 and today I've been able to grow and give away for free about 3 tons of cannabis. You can see the plants get pretty tall here. Here we are just before harvest for our medical cannabis. And we grow indoors, take them outdoors. Here's a traditional hemp harvest in Hungary from about 120 years ago. Seen many other photos here of hemp harvest, but here's a Kentucky hemp harvest where they were harvesting. It was a large crop there in the central United States till it was prohibited. You know, cannabis was prohibited based on misinformation. They said that it caused people to go crazy and kill their family and friends. Nothing could really be farther from the truth. It's the people who came up with these lies actually did it for their own economic benefit. It was really about fuel and energy, because hemp is the primary energy crop that I believe we can grow here on Earth. This is a little graphic that shows results from a United States Department of Agriculture study back 100 years ago that said a waste product from making canvas, rope, lace, and linen with cannabis, that waste product produces more than 4 times more fiber for paper than trees do. So basically it can produce about 30 tons of hurd fiber in a year, 5 to 10 tons of the bast fiber. All of that fiber is useful. But probably the most useful part of cannabis is the seed. And the seed makes an oil that's highly nutritious and a very valuable fuel and a substance for plastics. It also produces a protein. So hemp seed has more protein per gram than any other food out there. Soy is also high in protein, but hemp seed is more digestible. So though soy might have more protein for animals, for human digestion, hemp protein is more effective. This is a body of a car produced by Henry Ford. Henry Ford made several vehicles that were produced with hemp fiber and hemp oil in their body. He even took a sledgehammer. This is Henry Ford taking a sledgehammer to beat on the side of one of these cars with the sledgehammer just bouncing off. I am a proponent of hemp fuel. Low THC hemp produces just a small amount of seeds compared to higher THC hemp. So a friend of mine said that the people who brought us cannabis prohibition were the petrochemical, pharmaceutical, military, industrial, transnational, corporate, elite, crony capitalist ruling class. So they made up this myth that marijuana is a dangerous drug, so they wouldn't have to compete with hemp fuel. And when we can grow hemp again without regard to its THC content, but we can grow the varieties that make the most seed oil, the most seed protein, the highest quality seed and fiber, and not consider the THC content, I believe it will replace most of the world's petroleum, and we can use it as a fuel. In fact, you know, petroleum only produces about 40% fuel. That means 60% of petroleum is processed away. When you have hemp fuel, all of that can be used as fuel. So it doesn't have the toxic waste material. So I look forward to the day when our farmers can cultivate hemp for fuel instead of having the money go to the Saudi sheiks, the big petrochemical companies. It'll go to our farmers who will spend it in our communities, and that will realign our world's wealth. The United States has led the world in prison population. A lot of it has been driven by our war on drugs. We believe that restoring hemp can end that. I've been working on initiatives. This is a little picture. We took our petitions, gathered signatures, were able to, got the backing of this fellow who's a pretty famous singer in the United States. We're able to grow with him. Willie is also just coming out with a new line of marijuana products called Willie's Reserve. So back in 2012, we had 3 initiatives to completely legalize marijuana on the ballot in the United States. I was an advocate for the Oregon one. The other 2 won in 2012. Amendment 64 in Colorado, I-502 in Washington, legalized cannabis. As I said at the beginning of the presentation, we only got 47% of the vote. We lost in 2012, but we came back and won in 2014. So we've been implementing a regulation of marijuana to adults. And so this is the measure that did that. But I think basically we need to realize that cannabis is the oldest crop. Cannabis has been cultivated for at least 12,000 years, and perhaps twice that, perhaps 25,000 years ago. So we're taking what is the oldest crop and also the most productive crop, the crop that produces more fuel, more fiber, more food, and more medicine, and prohibiting it. And that is obviously wrong. We have co-evolved with cannabis over the past 12 to 25,000 years. We've changed cannabis. Cannabis has changed us. It could be the very root of civilization itself. The first agricultural societies were cultivating cannabis. So I am an advocate for ending the drug war and cultivating hemp. I want to thank you folks for listening to my presentation. And restore hemp.
ポール・スタンフォードさんありがとうございました。続きましてご紹介いたします。セルゲイ・コバレンコフさん、ウクライナからです。セルゲイ・コバレンコフさん、麻の建材と断熱材のエキスパートです。世界各地のプロジェクトに関わり、麻建築のプロジェクトに関する幅広い見識をお持ちです。ウクライナを拠点にヘンプクリート建築と断熱を専門に扱う会社、ヘンパイヤー社の創業者でいらっしゃいます。100% 生物分解可能な断熱材で高く知られています。この断熱材で水耕性の石灰や有害な物質を含まずに完全に麻のみの世界初のヘンプドームハウスも建てられました。セルゲイ・コバレンコフさん、拍手でお迎えください。
Mr. Kovalenko is the next speaker.
Hello everyone. I'm really honored to be here. It was a last-minute decision. Thank you to Japanese Hemp Association, along with the General Hemp, the company that is leading in producing CBD type of products. I'm really grateful to you. And today we're here to talk about hemp installation and construction. I know it sounds weird, but right here I hold the future, no, the present of insulation material, biodegradable insulation material. So my company is called Hempire, and yeah, how we use hemp, I find it the most fascinating way to tell you the truth. But before I start talking about our way of doing business, I would like to emphasize on things that make human being a happy person. It is very important, and I would like you, to take a look at this. So, proper food. We must eat good food to be happy, right? Environment. It is very important what's around us. People, our friends, relatives, our society is crucial to have a good people with kind intentions. Of course, thoughts and consciousness, if you have a good deed in your thoughts, you're always going to be a happy person that's going to spread good things around. And of course, the habitats, living space. According to statistics, we spend most of our lives in some type of building, whether it's home or office or country house. Here's an example of habitat. It is in Hong Kong. It's quite dense. When the British Empire came to power in that region, they allowed the locals to live in this district. The reason why it got so dense, you didn't have to pay taxes in living in this space, and you could see what happened to this area. It is quite scary, and people should not be living like this. Here we have another example of habitat, my home country, Ukraine. This is the houses we built. This is the 21st century, and we yet still building these houses out of concrete. And according to statistics, some researchers, they have done a study, and a human being officially cannot recover physically nor mentally in a reinforced concrete building. So, during 8-hour sleep. So you wake up already tired. So we have to stop this. I arrived in Japan yesterday, and I saw you have a lot of reinforced concrete buildings as well. And it's a great material, but its purpose is not served properly. It is designed, to build foundations out of it, dams, roads, industrial projects, but not the buildings themselves. So the factors that are affecting the city residents, it is quite impressive. On the photo, you see it's the photo of Mexico City, and we cannot even see any green parts of it, only in the far left corner. So the factors that affect the residents inside the city, of course, are the energy level of residents, population density, use of toxic materials inside the dwellings. That is, of course, affecting negatively. And ecology, air quality, water quality. And this is a good example. A couple of years ago, I lived and worked on hemp projects in Switzerland. And as you can see, these people understand how to live properly. All the villages, except for the big cities, all the villages are spread out equally. And, there is no such big density. I know Japan has a limited territory, but we can still find ways in order to live a proper life here. So I was really looking for the term that could describe how can you judge what's good, what's bad. And I found it in English dictionary. It is called discernment. It's the ability to obtain sharp perceptions or to judge well. And in order to get this ability, a person has to always turn to experts' advice, ancestors' practice. How quickly we forget how our ancestors used to build. There are examples in USA, Europe, Asia, and in Japan that there are buildings that are 80, 100 years old, built by our ancestors out of natural materials, and they still stand, they're in perfect shape, and there is nothing wrong with them. And of course, the third but not least point is our own experience. Up until we test something ourselves, we cannot tell for sure whether it's true, whether it's good or bad. Only the person. It's the same with food. You know, if you taste the food, you understand after tasting whether it's good for you or bad for you, not judging what other people have to say. So here's a nice, beautiful image I like to show. Is this our ancestors? Clearly not. That's not the way they built, and the producers of this material, they should have notified people who will be living in houses like this that they have to wear the mask and the suit every day. So in Hempire, we like to remove all that. And of course, we have laws that we follow, and we know they are crucial and important when we integrate our hemp insulation system to the world. And the first one, of course, it's we have to live in harmony with nature and respect its laws. And in the 20th century, we have done so many wrong things, so now we have to think about our next generations. We are already late, and we have to do it for our children, of course. And the second point is, while integrating new technologies, we never forget how our ancestors used to build. They used different types of materials depending on regions throughout the world, and we have to come back to the ways they used to build. A third one is especially important. Well-being, health, and comfort of human being are the most important parameters. Not technical values when we talk about insulation, construction materials, actually talking about any type of products. But the human's comfort has to be put in the first place, and it's crucial that we remember this. Lately, we've been choosing only technical values over these parameters, and we should come back once again and rethink. And of course, we have to work through love to humanity, our planet, and we have to respect it. So here is the image of different type of cannabis plants, sativa, indica, and ruderalis. The third ruderalis type is a rare one. So indica is the plant that grows in the wild. It contains THC, the psychoactive element. And the sativa one is an industrial hemp. That's the one we use. It contains no THC. In Ukraine, we have one of the most strict THC policies, so it's 0.08. That's the maximum THC you can have in a hemp plant. So here is the image of the hemp stem, hemp herd. So during the cortication process, we remove fiber and we crush the inner core of the plant, and we get the hemp herds. That's the material we insulate with. So we have a product. We have developed a product that is produced in 2 minutes using only natural ingredients. Hemp herds, our unique lime-based binder, and water. Only 3 components. And we have proven to the world it can be done without use of any cement, any type of chemicals, toxic plastification materials, so just organic, natural. And that's the way we're going. And we're not going to be sidetracked by any other technology. And of course, this insulation material can be used anywhere. Walls, roofs, floors. We can renovate existing buildings. We can start erecting walls for the new ones. So the sky is the limit. So that's how it looks like when you first prepare it. And the wood frame is ideal. I will have a lot of pictures, so keep your photo cameras open. Wood frames are perfect for this type. Bamboo, wood, any type of lumber is perfect for this type of material. So that's how it looks like once we covered it up. The unique part about it is that we make a formwork around this wood frame. We infill our materials inside, and we can take the formwork almost instantly, 10-15 minutes later, and the material hardens by itself by absorbing CO2 from the atmosphere, carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So that's how it looks like when it becomes dry. You see, it's hard as a stone, very light, and you can finish it with any type of organic render, like clay, like lime, anything. Ventilated facade system, you name it. So that's how the walls look like inside. And the wood frame, as you can see, it's completely hidden from the eye. So here an example of the floor insulation. Just another picture. Yeah. Here's the roof. Roofs are excellent. This is a straw bale house. Actually, our competitors on the market, they asked us to do the floor and the roof in this house. So, yeah, there is another example of the roof, flooring system. Any type of surface it can be done with, you know. So this material is absolutely incredible. And here is another example. We have developed a hemp-based render, fully organic, once again, in order to regulate humidity. And I'll be talking right now, why is it good? Here's an example of Mark & Spencer store, just a couple of examples out in the world. This shop was built out of hemp-based hemp lime panels. Here is Adnams Brewery, no air cooling system, and yet the annual savings on running the building coming up to 50,000 pounds each year. Here are our buildings, you know, like yoga studio installation in Kiev, Ukraine. It was a messy one, and we were doing it in winter. It was risky, but I still did it. We have insulated everything in hemp, ceiling, floor, walls. There was a concrete wall. We had to do it from inside because it was -20 outside at that time. And that's how it looks like right now. So out of the ugly concrete building, we have created a nice alkaline environment. And here's a tea room where parents can enjoy some unique Asian, maybe Japanese tea, and watch their kids train. Here's another examples of our project. I'm just showing you quickly what can be done, so you know that there are no limitations. Here you see a wall. It was done, the photo was taken of the day when we erected the wall. So we removed the formwork instantly, and then it starts to carbonize by absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Here is the floor, walls, that's how it looks like inside. And that's how, and then it will turn white over time, and you can finish it any way you want. So why is it good? Why is it, we wanted to do something extraordinary. So we have insulated the first ever dome houses in the world. That's how it looked like before, a wood frame house system. And then we started to apply our material. You don't need any hydro, no vapor, membranes or barrier. This material is not afraid of moisture. And I can see coming here, you also have a very high relative humidity here. It can suck up the moisture quite fast, and release it later on. So it regulates humidity by itself. It is quite amazing what it can do, this organic material. This is another project of ours recently. So I'll just go quickly over things. Why is it so good? As you can see, the green line represents the fluctuation of relative humidity outside. This research was done by a British company. And as you can see, from 40% to 90%. And the blue line inside shows, inside the hemp house, shows that this material is really can battle relative humidity outside. So there is no difference whatsoever. And we're talking about massive savings on heating and cooling the house built out of these materials. As you can see on the image here, there is a hemp herd under microscope. It is very porous. It is hygroscopic, highly hygroscopic. It can absorb a lot of moisture and hold the relative humidity inside the house at around 50%. The most comfortable for human being. This is very important. The most important parameter, it's not the temperature inside your house, but the relative humidity. It's quite critical. So it is a vapor permeable wall. The air can travel through it, and there's a huge difference between this material and reinforced concrete. It has high thermal capacity. It can store a lot of heat. So when you heat it up in the winter, the resistance is quite high against the cold air coming in. So it is quite, the density is quite low. The thermal conductivity, thermal values, architects like to emphasize on those. They're quite good. They're very good for organic material. And of course, we use only natural stuff, and the wood frame that is covered with our material is completely protected from rotting. One of the last things I would like to emphasize is the carbon footprint. When hemp plant grows, it absorbs a big amount of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. When our material is installed in place, it absorbs a huge amount of CO2 from the atmosphere. So we're talking about the house that we can build with very little emission of CO2. In fact, it's a carbon negative material. So another thing I want to add is the pH. It's a big problem. All fungus, all different type of bacteria, it evolves only in acidic environment. And because we use hydrated lime, we are raising pH of moisture inside the air to make it more neutral. It is very important. So that's why it's so comfortable. This material does not burn. It is not afraid of moisture. Pests and different rodents, mice, does not like lime. So we're solving many, many problems using only natural materials. And it's extremely important. And the last couple of things I want to say, these are the projects you've seen we've done only in the past year. 1 year from now. Those are the projects on the photos you've seen. We have received different prizes on architectural contests. One of them here is this International Architect Contest. We got to the top 30 finalists in the National Sustainable Development Contest. And we've only been doing it for a very little period of time. So I would like Japan to join us. You know, if you need my help, any research institute, government officials, if you need the help in construction installation program, I would be more than willing to help and show what great things we can do together. It is absolutely amazing material, and trust me, I've done it. I lived in a house like this, and I can prove it. So I would really like Japanese people to be living in healthy houses made out of natural materials. Thank you very much.
セルゲイ・コバレンコフさん、ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much, Mr. Sergei Kovalenko.
断熱材吸湿性もあるという
insulation and
プレゼンをいただきました。
absorption.
では、午後の前半では最後のスピーカーとなります。ご紹介いたします。
And then next speaker is the last speaker
オランダから
in
で
this
す。
session.
オランダから
Mr. Ben
センシシードバンク、ヘンプフラックス、ザ・ハッシュマリファナ&ヘンプミュージアム創設者でいらっしゃいます。
He is
ヘンプ
involved
フ
in
ラ
the
ックスのヘン
foundation
プ
of
製品という
Sensi
の
Seed
は
Bank,
ブガッ
Hemp
ティ・
Flax,
レイドン、
the
ジャ
Hashmarana
ガー、
and
ベ
the
ント
Hemp
レー、
Museum.
BMW、メルセデス・ベンツなどのドアパネルやダッシュボードに使われています。次は車です。ヨーロッパ随一の規模を誇るヘンプ農場と加工工場を持つヘンプフラックス社を創業した経験とそのお話、ベン・ドロンカ
Hemp
ー
Flax,
ルさんに
the
お願い
largest
したいと思います。
hemp farmers and hemp processing factory in Europe, and he is going to talk about the history of the company as well.
An initiative of Dutch entrepreneur and philanthropist Ben Dronkers.
Ben Dronkers
As a young man in the early
カナバス
1970s,
カルチャーア
Dronkers
ワー
gradually
ドを
began
スター
what
ト
was
し
to
ました。
become a lifelong quest to unlock the
一生涯を
potential
か
of
け
the
た
cannabis
ヘンプ
plant and to
カナビス
improve
に
the
関して
quality
の
of
旅
human
路を
life
始めたわけであります。
Over the years, Dronkers has founded and continues to run various cannabis and hemp-related enterprises. Sensi Seeds has become the leading international seed bank and has been setting the standard for decades. This cannabis gene bank is responsible for preserving medicinal-grade cannabis strains approved and sold by the Bureau of Medical Cannabis, an organization run by the Dutch government. Hemp Flax, established in the mid-90s, is one of Europe's largest producers and processors of industrial hemp. The Hash Marijuana and Hemp Museum in Amsterdam was opened in 1985 and presents a permanent exhibition about the history and uses of the cannabis plant around the world. The museum has over 100,000 visitors a year. Last year saw the grand opening of the Hash Marijuana, Canyano and Hemp Museum, located in the beautifully renovated Mornau Palace in the historical centre of Barcelona. Since 2004, the museum confers the Cannabis Culture Awards upon those who have distinguished themselves in the struggle for acceptance of cannabis in all of its forms.
Thank you very much, Japan. I'm very happy to be here. It's my honor, and I hope we make a difference to show what hemp is. I encountered hemp 50 years ago. I was 17 years old, and I smoked it, and I love it, and I still smoke it. And when I start, people thought, you know, this is drugs. This is very bad for you. It is not. It is good for you. I couldn't say that 50 years ago. I couldn't say that 25 years ago when I started, well, actually nearly 30 years ago, I started a seed company, Sensi Seeds, because I like the smoke so much. I go all over the world to find the seeds, because all these different qualities, different varieties of marijuana, I was interested in. And I saw the farmers, they're growing it, and I saw the culture in Afghanistan, Lebanon, Morocco, and many, many places. So I collected the seeds. And in Europe, everybody smoked. It was the hippie time. America, everybody smoked. So I didn't understand why we couldn't grow it. And then I understood that in America, they grow it already, the homegrown. So we tried it also. We made a teepee of neon lights, and it works. We grow the plant, and it came a very nice thing. I brought the seeds from Afghanistan, and it was very nice. So I started to sell the seeds, and it makes me a lot of money. But since I was a hippie and an idealist, I didn't care so much for the money. And when I realized that all this history, all these lies about why this thing was so bad, I started to research the history. And I opened a museum in Amsterdam. And the more I learned about it, the more people came to my museum from all over the world. So that's why I met so many people like Chris Conrad 25 years ago, Jack Hara, so many. Because it was a melting pot of information, and they teach me a lot. So we share the information like we try to share the information now with you. With all this seed collecting, we have over, I think, around 500 and something different varieties. In what maybe 1/3 is high THC for marijuana, and the rest is more like for hemp cultivation. We found it also, the IHAD, you know, the German, most of the people went there just now for 13 years. And this was a group of people who did the hemp varieties. And it makes me still today angry that we only can grow varieties with 0.2 or 0.3% THC. It's crazy. It's crazy. There's no need. I hear people talking also today like, oh, lucky there's no THC or CBD in it. It's not lucky. It is like you have a dog or a cat, but it cannot have a tail. How can? This is a plant with all his capacities, with all these different varieties, with all his different capacity, that this dog and this cat cannot have a tail. So when you have a dog or a cat, you love your dog and your cat. I love my plant. It is consciousness. It became my friend, and it's still my friend. And from the moment I started to grow it, I love it, and I know it. So I do it, and of course the government didn't like it. The police didn't like it. They arrest me more than 80 times. I go in totally, maybe my longest time in prison was 6 weeks. Most of the time it was 1 day, a few hours, 3 days, because Holland is very liberal, you know, we have the coffee shops, people can smoke free. But when I started my hemp factory after the museum, because in the museum I have all this information of the history, your history, the history of the world, the history from China, from America, from all over the world. It was there in our history. So I didn't understand, you know. And then people say in my museum, yeah, you're talking this bullshit. How can you talk like that? Because this is no good, this plant. Because if it was hemp so important, why nobody is doing it? So since I make a lot of money and I didn't care, still not too much, about money, I thought, well, why I don't start it? So I started hemp. That's about 25 years ago now, I think, something like that. And when I start hemp, they say, oh, he's gonna make a marijuana factory. So right away, the police come, they bust me again, and I have to go to court because it was legal to grow hemp. The only thing was, the last hemp that was growing was before the Second World War. And like you hear today, in 1945, or even 1928 in America, they make it already illegal, and then they make it illegal all over the world. Tell me why. And I ask many times the politician, why it is forbidden. If there's anybody here in the audience who is against the marijuana, I'm afraid not, I wish they were, because most of the time those people don't come. Tell me one reason why it is forbidden. They don't know. The only reason they could give me on the television was in a discussion when I asked the politician, hey, why it is forbidden? Yeah, it is forbidden because it's forbidden. Well, if that is a good argument, I don't know anymore. So I started Hempflex, and it was blood, sweat, and tears. Pain, there was nothing. We didn't know nothing. And when we started, we had 100 hectares, and we had the machine we can find was a double cutter that used before the war. So I was on a field of 20 hectares, and the machine go, and oh, happy. It took 2.5 hours for the machine come back. So I thought, this is only not 1 hectare in 2 hours, more than not even half a hectare in 2 hours. So I put my money where my mouth was, and I put money to invest in new technology. And I didn't stop. Believe me, still I make a lot of money with my seed company. So every year I lost about $2 million, $2.5 million, $1.5 million. And now, 25 years later, we made about $100,000 profit for the first year, last year. And all these 25 years, we lost money. But I'm happy I can show you something I'm very proud of and want to share with you. Also the technology we wanted to share with you. Our seeds we'd like to share with you. Please show what we have done. It goes like a motorbike. It's very fast. We patented this machine 15 years ago, and now the patent is finished. These are the mats for the automotive industry. It's in the BMW, Mercedes, Jaguar, Bugatti Veyron, many cars. This is to grow any kind of plant you want. Animal bedding, but also for hemp feed. Yes, nature will win. So, what is the problem with this plant? The problem with cannabis is stubborn politicians, big corporations, because you can drink alcohol, like the guy say from Mexico, you have the jute, and you can make tequila out of it. Politicians drink like anything, especially in Japan, as I know. Everywhere in the world, alcohol is number one. Tobacco is very nice. Even in Europe, there is still subsidy on tobacco. They took all the subsidy from hemp, they took it away. We had it before. No more subsidy. So what is the problem? The alcohol industry, pharmaceutical industry, tobacco industry, a lot of those big corporations is holding it back. So all these politicians who say it is forbidden because it is forbidden, they have to be very, very dumb after seeing this, after seeing what all my friends and colleagues are telling you now. They have to be very, very dumb, stupid, or corrupt. You tell me what it is. Are they so dumb? They can talk like this. They can talk lies and lies and lies, because that's the language of the politicians. We have to do more research. We have to find out first if it is not dangerous for our children. No, it is not dangerous for our children. It's not dangerous for you. It was not dangerous for me. It is not dangerous for my son who's there. It is not dangerous for my grandson who sits there. It was my history. This is the present and the future for our children. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ben Dronkos.
まさにヘンプの使い方をどう捉えていくかが私たちに問われているというお話もあったかと思いました。それではここでですね、一旦休憩をいただきたいと思います。またですね、和瀬夏美さんによりますノリとシンガーの演奏と歌をお聴きいただきたいと思います。今から20分ほど休憩を時間とさせていただきます。
So let's have a break. Thank you very much.
和瀬夏美さんの歌、そして和瀬の瀬和さんの演奏、ただいまから準備整い次第始まりますが、受付でこちらの CD の販売も行っております。どうぞ手に取ってご覧いただいて、よろしければお買い求めください。
ほつま伝幾千年のその昔神々と今は呼ばれるご先祖様の生きた証が残ります雨土の開けし時に二神の徒歩に収む民まして天出る神の御鏡を足して御草の御宝を の始まりは左巻きの渦と右巻きの渦同時にできて右は左に左は右に力与えつ新しく世界を運んでまいります男と女上と下東と西北南すべてつながりどちらはかけても成り立たぬそして続いていきましたあで始まりわで終わる阿波の歌生き 私たちの文明は進化しているんでしょうか。昔昔あるところ、空飛ぶ船に乗ってやってきたご先祖様がいました。そんなお話が祝詞の中にも残っています。それでは最後に徳佐の大原への祝詞と高浜原に集まります。スメラがぶつかむろきかむろみのみこともちてあまてる国てる彦雨のほあかりくしたまにはやひのみこと授けたもうこと教えてのたまわく今しこの三つの宝を持ちて青一草の病のことあらば徳佐の宝古めゆらゆらゆらかしたまえまかるともさらに生きなんと教えたもうた徳佐の宝おきつ鏡へつ鏡やつかの剣いくたまたるたま見違えしのたままかるがえしのたまおろちのひれ八のひれくさぐさのもののひれふるべふるべゆらゆらふるべ の光日の光うる波うるる
早瀬夏美さんによりますノリとの、ソングをお聴きいただきました、そして演奏は早瀬の世話さんお二人ありがとうございました。また会場では、入り口の受付で、早瀬夏美さんの、CD 販売しておりますのでどうぞ、後でまたご覧いただきたいと思います。それではこの後ですねステージ、整えましていよいよ、午後の部の、メインのステージを始めさせていただきます。ここからはですね国際的なネットワークとその協力共同によりましていかに現実的に持続可能な未来を作っていけるのかその具体像を探って国際的なプロジェクト創造の可能性を探っていくメインフォーラムのパネルディスカッションのコーナーということになります。司会モデレーターにはグローバルで本質的な視点から環境問題を見据えておられます明治大学教授辻井真一さんをお迎えしまして、そしてフォーラムパネリストにはさらにここから先ほど、登壇いただきました皆様に加えまして、たくさんの皆様全部で12人のパネリストによります、もう本当にまさに世界の朝環境についての話し合い会議が、まさに今から開かれるということになります。また会場内にマイク設置してございますので、後ほどお時間の許す限り皆様にも質問や議論にも加わっていただこうかなというふうにも考えております。